Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Parashat Pointers for Parashat Metzora. This week's Dvar Torah is dedicated by Lior and Melissa Hannon in honor of their parents AJ and Shelly Jamal and Jack and Nitza Hannon. Bezat Hashem, thank you so much for that wonderful dedication. So we're approaching the amazing holiday of Pesach, and I think it's important that we grasp certain fundamentals of our unbelievable relationship we have with Hashem, that we gain from this amazing holiday and the Seder night. There's many aspects to the enslavement that we went through in Mitzrayim. We know that we had what's called avodat parech, hard labor. But how do we define that? What exactly is the hard labor that we went through in Mitzrayim? The Rambam, when he talks about the laws of a Eved Ivri, a Hebrew slave, a Jewish slave, he says that avodat parech is work that really has no meaning. It doesn't do anything. You know, it's like when you hire somebody for a job and you do them a favor. Just go do this and go do that. And they get that feeling. You feel very low. You feel very useless. What Paro did, as we know, he had them build these cities that they built and then they just fell to the ground. And that was just torture. To do work that has no meaning, has no fulfillment, is absolute torture. And that's the avodat parech that the Jewish people went through. Imagine working and feeling absolutely no accomplishment with what you do. On the contrary, when we left Mitzrayim, we got the Torah. The Ramban says that the entire purpose of leaving Mitzrayim was only to get the Torah. We now had meaning in everything we do. We're developing our neshamot, we're developing a relationship with Hashem. It's not about just leaving Mitzrayim. It's about where we went to, the gaining and the getting of the Torah from Hashem, and having a roadmap to have a life of meaning. That's true freedom. In fact, the Hafetz Chaim, in his introduction to the Mishnah Berurah that he wrote, he says that's what it means, V'chayeh olam nata b'tochenu, an everlasting life you put into us. You know what that means? That means that when we learn Torah, we are gaining everlasting life. How unbelievable is that? You do a mitzvah, you're forever and ever and ever connected to Hashem in an unbelievable way. Our freedom is the ability to live a life of significance. What an amazing sense of purpose that is. It's important, though, to tell our children that in life things may be tough, but accomplishments that are meaningful, it might be hard, but it's so worthwhile. You have a clear goal, you have satisfaction, you have something so much deeper than anything that any other person could imagine. I heard a wonderful idea from Rabbi Zev Lev from Yerushalayim. He's in Israel, not in Yerushalayim. And he says a beautiful idea, but I need to give you two introductions for those who may not know, so we can understand this beautiful Dvar Torah. There's an idea in Torah called Gematria. Gematria means that every letter has a numerical value. That means Aleph, the first letter of the Aleph Bet, is a numerical value of 1. Bet, which is the second letter, is 2, and so on. Gimel is 3. There's another idea also in this world called Atbash. I actually made a little chart. It's in the Dvar Torah, but I have it here for you as well. Atbash means that you have the Aleph Bet, right? And then if you take the Aleph Bet backwards, every letter has a corresponding letter. Okay, so that's called Atbash. Beautiful. So now, with those two ideas, let's understand a beautiful Dvar Torah. We spoke just now about what's called avodat parech, work that has no meaning. So if you take the peh, the resh, and the chet, right? You have the peh, the resh, and the het. That's parech. What are the corresponding letters? Corresponding to the peh is a vav, corresponding to the resh is a gimel, and corresponding to the chav is a lamed. Vav, Gimel, Lamed. Now, that's the Atbash. Now, we are going to apply it with Gematria. What's a Gematria of Vav, Gimel, and Lamed? 39. Avodat Parech, meaningless work that has nothing at the end that you could feel good about, no sense of accomplishment. What's the opposite of that? The 39 melachot that built the Mishkan. It's also a melacha. It's also a work. But it's a work that has meaning. The greatest meaning that could possibly exist, the building of the Mishkan. So you see hidden with the opposite of parech is the 39 melachot, something that I do that has so much meaning. This is the idea that we're talking about. This is the freedom that we're talking about. Our children must know. They must know that every good deed, word of prayer, Torah learning, blessing in the world, it brings beracha, it brings blessing to the entire world. They live a life of meaning. When they understand that they'll have the wherewithal to persevere when things are a little tough, when it's hard to learn, when it's hard to do a mitzvah, but it has meaning, so I'll do it. Imagine a mother, our unbelievable Jewish mothers, what they do. They work so hard. They try to grow spiritually themselves. They're raising their children with patience. They're driving around. They're preparing meals. But they're so happy. Why are you so happy? It's a very hard work. Constantly being pulled by children, husbands, things. You know what the answer is? They see the meaning. I'm raising children. I'm raising the next generation. I live a beautiful life that's putting over love of Hashem and connection to Hashem with an eternal bond. So for me, it's not avodat parech. It's beautiful work. It's like building the Mishkan. An absolutely free person is not one who just sits with his feet up and does nothing, with no responsibilities or worries of life. That's not freedom you got to tell your children at the Seder table. Freedom is the ability to work hard, but to work for Hashem, to be an Eved Hashem, and to have meaning in everything you do. Let's build this in our children. They'll then make decisions, and they'll make better decisions. Why would they want to squander their time with things that have no meaning? They're gonna feel an affinity towards doing things that make them feel good about themselves, and not wasteful habits that squander the wonderful opportunities that life has to offer. I want to wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom and a beautiful Pesach. Thank you.